Joining us in studio, Abi Jackson and Paul Aloisi. Abby is spokesperson, the auntie, yeah. Malik Jackson, who's viciously murdered by Tony McDade, which seems like yesterday, but it's been almost a month now. 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? 3? 2? 3. It's a whirlwind of when it happened. Give everybody a little explanation on who Malik was. Introduce Malik to everybody through his auntie's eyes.
Malik was the kid that just smiled. Malik really didn't talk. You had to initiate a conversation with Malik. But when it came to adults, Malik would say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. All he did was work. Never been in trouble before. Wasn't a disrespectful kid. But Malik loved his mom. Malik loved his family, period. And for all the rumors, Malik wasn't the person who the media or who the people are claiming him to be.
And we have seen that literally the day after Malik was murdered, that there was a video that was going around that showed the end of a fight with Malik and some other guys, a 5-second clip of them basically beating up Tony McDade. But what people didn't see, because this is our social media nature, they didn't see the full fight. And they didn't show that Tony showed up with a knife and then threatened them with the knife, and then the guys got Tony to put down the knife, and then Tony basically, we can't play the audio because it's just full of cuss words, Tony egged them on. And then when Tony went back for the knife, that's when they ganged up on him.
She never put down the knife.
Yeah, okay. I thought, so she put the knife, tell everybody what, because everybody's seen that video, and this is what is hard to wrap my head around, and I can't imagine with the family, that, okay, so this did happen, that there was this fight, that they ganged up. Well, one, everybody's going out there saying that Tony was beat up because he was gay, because he was a transgendered man. That is not true.
That's not true. In my family, we have different lifestyles. A matter of fact, we have a cousin that dressed in drag just to see her walk the runway and stroll. It brings life. It's fun just to watch her. And I mean, clearly, my family has nothing against the LGBT community. I was in the lifestyle for 12 years. I mean, my kids were raised by a woman that actually looks just like Tony McDade. To this day, I have a bunch of friends that's in the LGBT community. So it was clearly nothing about her being transgender. The day of the fight, my sister was talking to a friend of ours, and she was telling the friend that she was tired of Natasha cooking her dinner, posting to Facebook, I cooked my wife dinner, but she fell asleep before I could feed her, and she was tired of the text messages that Natasha was sending her.
And Natasha, for everybody out there, that is
Tony.
Tony.
Yes.
Tony.
I called her Natasha.
And then that's the other thing that what we've seen a lot of on social media is that the misgendering of Natasha or Tony, that a WFSU reporter came out and reported Tony as a female and was literally jumped on social media. But how did it was he, she, I mean, how did...
I didn't know him as being a transgender. I knew him as a stud, meaning a woman that's like a man. So I called her Natasha. I never knew about the transgender part.
Yeah, that has gone over, and that the WFSU reporter being jumped on that. So there was a fight. So and then that night that Tony had posted on Facebook about having the gun and coming and it was going to murder, literally said murder, held up the gun, the 5 guys that were involved with that.
Well, earlier that day, before the fight took place, there were text messages that was sent to my sister's phone,
Mm-hmm.
and should I read them?
If you don't,
I
just
mean, I won't say the curse
yeah,
word.
yeah. Don't say the curse words. Yeah, you
Okay.
can read some. This is after the fight.
No, this is
Okay,
before the
before
fight.
the fight. Okay.
Yes. Um, the date is 5/26/2020. The first text message came in at 4:13 a.m. I won't read that one because it has a lot of.
Okay.
Okay, so at 12:22 p.m., she says soulmate definition, two of a kind, genuine grind alike, care alike for others, love unconditionally, great sex lasting like no other, and deep beautiful dimples, and a personality to die for. I see it, feel it, crave it, and want it, Jennifer. Forever with you is where I want to be. To smell that
Mm-hmm.
N-word on your face, baby has sent me into a killing mode. I'll kill for you and you. Baby, this morning you said you'll never leave. What happened? You're in love with me like I am in love with you. Babe, please don't stay away for a week.
And these are one text after another.
Yes.
No response.
No
Yeah,
response back.
just coming back, 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 back,
Yes.
back, back.
I need you and love you, please, baby. Jen, I destroy anyone for the woman I'm in love with. So come home, baby. I want to hold you and smell the back of your neck. Come home to daddy. Blank that in.
Mhm.
You think you in love with.
So obviously stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But this is probably not anything new from when both moved in. Knew that Natasha slash Tony had personality issues, had mental issues. Anything else that kind of triggered, like with calling the night before, with calling Tallahassee the police department.
Okay, so right before the fight, my sister was talking to a friend, and she was telling the friend basically she was tired of Natasha Tony, um texting her, cooking her dinner, bringing it to the door, cause she lived right next door.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I guess Natasha, I don't know whether she heard it or whatever, but she came out of door number 3 into door number 2, which that is where my sister lived. She barged in the door, and she walked over to my sister while she was laying on the couch, and she told her, when you state my effing name, you state my name in silence, B.
Mm.
And the person that was in there said, nobody is talking about you. And at this time, because the way she forced herself in, Malik was sitting in his SUV. Malik heard it. And keep in mind, Malik's little brother, the 13-year-old, was sitting in the living room. And Malik said, well, what's going on? And she turned around and looked at him and said, yo, MF, B mama, or however she said it. And Malik told me this. He said, hold up, you can't be disrespecting my mama in
Right.
her house. And my little brother sitting right here. And the other person that was in there was like, yeah, that ain't cool. You can't be disrespecting her like that. So Malik said he turned around, went and sat back in his truck. At this time, Natasha Tony, she came out and she circled around his truck, hitting his SUV with the gun and the knife. And Malik said he told her, I don't fight women and I don't play with guns and knife. And she just kept on, kept on. So at this time, the black car pulled up, parked in the driveway. And he see all the commotion going on, and she said, so y'all called the big bad MF. The only thing he asked what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he told her, I don't have nothing to do with this. But at this time, she was in a rage. So the video that everybody see, there's 2 more parts to it.
What you sent me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was clearly in the road, baiting them on with the knife. She also had the gun in her pocket. And at this time, the person in her, they dancing around in the road, and she started going on and on, slapping herself across the head, patting her nose, whatever she was doing. And then after I think she swung at him in the video,
Mm-hmm.
and he slapped her.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, the second video comes around, and you can clearly see the person in the red shorts throw up the hand. And I think she said, "You think I'm gonna put the knife down?" And it's four of y'all, and that's when he threw his
And
hands
so
up.
I don't want to get killed.
Yeah. So at this time, the person that was in the road with her, she was actually coming behind him with the knife. That's how all four of them actually end up jumping on it. It's like a hijacker being on a plane, and it takes more than one person. It takes more than one person to take that person down, because she was very strong. They admitted she was very
Yeah.
strong, and she wasn't going to stop.
Okay. So yeah, so then there was that, and then the Facebook Live video that night with Natasha slash Tony, basically threatening that they were going to kill, and then May 27th,
Mm-hmm.
that Tony basically hunts Malik.
Mm-hmm.
While Malik's sitting in the SUV, and then comes up and murders Malik.
Yes.
And then with the other people, there was how many? Four other
I
people in the
think it was either 4 or 5.
okay in the SUV that were just shocked and then fought off
Mm-hmm.
Natasha slash Tony, and then so Tony's running away, and then sees an acquaintance right after Tony murders Malik, and tell Malik's mom to go pick her effing son off the ground.
She called her through video, and there's a video where you can clearly see Natasha Tony running up the road, the police trying to get past EMS. I guess they were trying to get to her, but EMS was there pulling Malik out of the woods. And she while she was running up the road, you could see, how she was moving, but she was making that call then at 10:47. The Facebook call to the friend.
And just that's chilling. Go to tell a mother to go pick her effing son off the ground.
But the night prior, she also texted her and told her, "I'm going to make Jennifer hurt like she hurt me."
And then McDade and then Natasha then went up and allegedly pointed the gun at the officer, where that in the Facebook video the night before that had promised that was going to happen. She was going to go kill these guys and then have a standoff with police, and that she wasn't going back to prison. And then pulled the gun on the officer, and then the officer shot down. And then the nightmare of having your nephew, of having son, having cousin murdered, just got kind of worse, with Tony McDade being martyred, and then with having Black Lives Matters, Black Trans Lives Matters, chanting the murderer, chanting the name all over the country, all over the world. And then one that made a comment on something that with Barack Obama,
Yes.
that even coming out and saying there needs to be justice. What went through? How describe when you saw that article, or when you heard about that, with everything, with Tony's name being chanted all over the world? How did that feel as a family? Because I understand that the family, that with the mom, with Jen, that getting threatened after her
Yes.
son was murdered, being threatened.
One of the family member address was posted on the Facebook. Um, there has been rumors that they were trying to rob her. That's not true. There has been rumors that they jumped on her because she was transgender. That's not true. I feel like for Obama to speak on something, for President Obama to speak on something that he didn't know, it's not cool. The morning when that article was sent to me, I felt as if I was stabbed. I felt as if my family was stabbed. And just to see people around the world actually worshiping a murderer, it just feels like my family has been stabbed right along with Malik. I mean, every morning when I get up, and I told myself I was going to stay off Facebook, but then I'm like, why? I mean, because people, they going to believe what they want to believe. I mean, when people make up in their mind, this is what it is, this is what it is, all I have is the truth with evidence. That's it. I have the text messages. I have the videos. I just hate that all of these people that sit up higher is actually speaking on something they don't know.
Right.
And I hate that the media just took a story and ran with it. Because if they would have waited on the facts, they would have known the truth. It was a fatal attraction.
Hmm.
She was obsessed. And I mean, it's no other way to put it. Those text messages, there's plenty more.
Yeah, yeah. You've sent them to me. They're frightening. And fatal attraction is the best way to put that into perspective. But it's the way that a murderer's name is being chanted and Malik's name. I went on Twitter yesterday. Bobby Mack went on Twitter. I typed in Tony McDade. Article after tweet 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 after tweet. Typed in Malik Jackson's name. Other than our tweets, not a lot. And then it went to the football player, Malik Jackson. That there is nothing out there that Malik, in his own murder, has been forgotten, and the murderer is a martyred hero.
Mm-hmm.
And how upsetting! What was it last Friday? I rarely get angry on this show.
Sure.
And I went off, and I can't imagine the pain that is going through the fam. It breaks my heart, Abby.
It hurt like hell. It do, just to know that Malik wasn't a bad kid. I mean, the only thing Malik got in trouble for was driving with no license. But guess what? He went and got his license to correct that situation. Malik was, he was not a troubled child. Malik started giving his coworkers rides to work once he was able to purchase his own car. And Malik, he worked for everything that he got.
I saw some of his coworkers that after talking about him and how they just loved him, just really loved working with him, and what a good kid he was. And I think that's and that's why I wanted you on. I wanted everybody to unfortunately, I wish again that we were meeting under different circumstances, talking about different stuff. But I want everybody to know about Malik, so maybe that they will start sharing his name and saying his name, because it's just heartbreaking to me that his name is just forgotten, and that Tony's name is being praised, and I don't know, Paul. When you guys came in, tell everybody why that when the Jackson family contacted you, why you guys were brought in.
Absolutely. So the Jackson family, they've been friends with Miss Annabelle Diaz for some time, and Miss Annabelle Diaz and I, we have a lot of cases currently together. And she gave me a call, told me what was going on, and I said I would absolutely love to help. And you know, I think Abigail would say the same. I think Malik's mother Jennifer would say the same. I think the moment we all sat down, myself, John Leese, and Ryan Mulligan, who are all at my firm, we all had a connection. We all knew exactly what our goal and purpose was, which was to get the proper story out there, the truth out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing to remember is that we're not making up some story. We're not writing something to grab headlines. We're telling the truth of what happened. And it is a tragedy, and you know, we're here to help get that story out, and we're here to investigate what could and should have been done leading up to the heartbreaking and tragic murder of Malik Jackson.
Yeah, when you at first shared the GoFundMe page you're asking to raise $9,000 to help bury your nephew. When you first shared it with me, it was at $1,100 out of $9,000, and at that point, that somebody had started a GoFundMe for Tony McDade for his family, her family, and that was at $120,000 at the time, and then now the Tony McDade GoFundMe is up almost $250,000, and where are we sitting? Like 6,000, 7,000?
6,500, I think.
So still not to the goal, which is mind-blowing to me that. And then so I reached out to the person that started the Tony McDade and asked if they wanted to make a contribution to Malik's. And politely, that's how I'm going to put it, because we did have a civil conversation, she politely declined. And which give every right to do that, but when you even see that kind of stuff, that you're asking for help to bear. Can't cuss. To bury your nephew, and $9,000, and you can still go out and just go in to GoFundMe, go onto the website, type in Malik Jackson, and you'll see, look for the one from Abi Jackson, and you can go and make a donation, because the funeral was last Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, sir.
And then I remember when we were talking, and you're wearing the shirt, and the red shirts, blue jeans.
Yes, sir.
Is what we wanted to go on, and but looking at the donations is pouring in for a murderer and pouring in for a murder victim that's an injustice, and that you didn't reach $9,000 in like that. I mean, just describe when you see those comparisons with the GoFundMes.
I think that a lot of the people that donated, they didn't know the story. Because, like I said, the media just took off, and social media is, really a joke.
It's the devil.
Yeah, it really is. And they saw the headline, transgender. And one thing about the LGBT community, they stick together. So they took lies and ran with it, if that's the best way to put it. Because, it wasn't, Malik was murdered. Malik, all I can say is she murdered him. It's nowhere around it. Malik, any child will protect their mom. And no, my sister did not push him out there for the lies that's being told. My sister did not push him out there to go fight her. Malik was sitting in his truck while after Malik told her to get out of his mom's house, he went back to the truck and sat in his truck, continued to listen to music while she circled his truck with the knife and gun. In one of the videos, my sister said, "I'm going to call the police." So the people, that one fight video, and then with the media headlines, I understand where the people went wrong at. But to be honest, Malik was murdered. It's no way around that he was murdered. And any mom that know your kids will protect you. Now, I can see if Malik, got out of his truck and came in the house and just attacked. He did not do that. Malik didn't fight. So, I feel bad for the people that, was misled on the headlines. But I don't even know if it's a way to correct it.
I don't think there is, because you've joined Twitter recently. We've been out there trying to correct people, but they just put their fingers in their ears and cover up their eyes. That they don't want to see the truth, because they only want to believe the truth that they have, the lie that they think is a truth. I don't know how we can get in touch with President Obama to let him know. I don't know how we can get in touch with some of these blue checkmark people that have millions. I think we just need to just keep saying his name.
Yes,
and saying the right name, and it's Malik Jackson, not Tony McDade.
Yes, I agree.
Abby, thank you.
Sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Be right back. Real Mornings, Real Talk, 93.3.